I am so nervous to make this video. Why? Because some people take their denim very seriously, and I want to try my best to get this right. Hello internet friends, and welcome back to my series where I try and find quality clothing within a brand. Today I'm focusing on Levi's. Levi's is a massive company, and you can find Levi's just about anywhere and everywhere. Costco, Sam's Club, Walmart, Target, their own factory outlet store. Today my major goal was to figure out what are some of the significant differences in quality. Ultimately try and figure out, is it really worth it to buy their premium collection? But first I think it's important to understand how denim is made. Denim is a twill weave fabric, usually made from cotton. This uses a process called warping and wefting. The warp threads are dyed indigo while the weft threads remain white. The weft passes under at least 2 warp threads. You can find denim made on shuttle looms or projectile looms. Most mass market produced denim is made on projectile looms. It's just a much faster process. Levi's was established in 1853 during the California Gold Rush by Levi Strauss. Originally the brand was created for miners, ranchers, laborers who needed durable workwear. The game changer, however, came in 1873 when Levi's partnered with tailor Jacob Davis to add rivets to the stress points on denim. And that was essentially the creation of blue jeans that we know today, most notably the 501s. Levi's has multiple tiers of denim that they offer, and it's not always easy to distinguish exactly what the difference is. For starters, they have their mainline collection, which is what you would find at Target or Walmart or even the factory outlet stores. Next, you have their premium line, which is what you would find at their actual brick and mortar stores, and online it is specifically noted premium collection. As well as within the tag, you can see their little patch that says premium collection on the inside. Next, they have Levi's vintage clothing, also known as LVC. This is their reproduction line. They use items from their archive and reproduce and reimagine these items. Oftentimes though, the quality is not going to be item for item because obviously a lot of the machines that they used and a lot of the production quality that they had available back when, like let's say in the 1950s, is no longer in use today. Last but not least, they have their Made in Japan line, which from all I can gather has replaced their Made and Crafted line. So it is considered their high-end line. It is in partnership with Kaihara Denim Mill, so they source all of their denim from that specific mill. Japan is definitely leading the way right now when it comes to the manufacturing process of denim. Their attention to detail is unmatched right now in the market, and I think having that kind of seal of approval when it says Made in Japan and specifically sourced from the Kaihara mill, you just have that little like thing in the back of your head that's going, okay, yeah, this is well-made denim. However, I will say the LVC line and the Made in Japan line could very easily just be consolidated down to one line because there really is not a strong enough difference and the catalog is not that wide. There are so many crossovers, and if you look at their website, pretty much everything that's LVC is marked with the Made in Japan line. But I do think it is so important to understand the difference between the lines because that is ultimately where the price points start to make sense. Let's head out to the Levi's store and see what the quality feels like. Now, I do just want to note, I am coming off of the Gap video that I just filmed where the literal rivet on the jeans popped off. To me, I'm just like, oh my gosh, how much worse can quality get? Like, what are the standards going to be like out there? The first thing to note at the Levi's store itself, the denim all across the board has the premium label on it. So you know when you're in store, you're not gonna get like duped out of some kind of quality. Where I would say approach with caution is the non-denim jean lines. So like a basic t-shirt or a sweatshirt. Those I cannot vouch for. They do not have premium on them, but we're gonna get into that in just a minute. Having focused a lot on denim over the last couple months of me doing these reviews, I can honestly say the thickness and quality stands out so much more on these denim jeans. Trying on Old Navy, trying on Gap, trying on Anthropologie, like the quality standards across the board, Levi's wins already just based on touch and feel alone. Thickness of denim is there. I did take a look strongly at both the men's section and the women's section because I really did want to get a generalized understanding of what the quality difference is. And I will say mostly across the board, the men's versus women's, you're getting very similar feel, durability, thickness of denim. Where I just went absolutely crazy and I cannot for the life of me figure out what is going on is in the men's section. If you turn up the hems, they all have chain stitches for the most part. I can't say all like 100%, but like we're talking 90% of the denim has chain stitch. The research I did on this is just like all up in the air. I cannot for the life of me figure out if it's worth it or not. When my mom, who sews, took a look at it, she was like, well, I mean, technically, like you find the right thread and you rip that thread, the whole thing will unravel a lot quicker than say a loop stitch, which is what the women's section has, is just the single loop stitch. From more research that I did, there are specific machines that are used to create the chain stitch. Pretty much any tailor, if they specialize in denim, they will strongly recommend the chain stitch. One thing that I will say is the chain stitch, when you flip up the cuff, oftentimes creates a little bit more of an aesthetic look. And this is just from my own personal hot take, but I think men are more likely to cuff their denim jeans. However, I personally love cuffing my denim. I don't know if you've noticed this. Pretty much whenever I wear dark wash denim, I cuff my jeans. I don't know if I would say it is worth like dying on that hill and saying like, oh, I cannot believe that men get the chain stitch and women only get the loop stitch. I don't know the answer to that. If anybody has any sort of opinion, I would so greatly appreciate putting this to rest and letting me know, do you prefer chain stitch? Do you prefer loop stitch? Someone's got to solve this mystery for me. There is a pretty solid collection of 100% cotton versus, you know, anything with polyester or a mix blend. Now, I personally have a lot of hot takes when it comes to polyester in your denim. I don't think you get as long of a life out of a pair of denim jeans with polyester mixed in it versus 100% cotton. I did want to try on a bunch of different variations of denim that I could get my hands on. The first pair that I tried on is the baggy dad denim. These are 100% cotton. They're mid-rise. They are loose through the hip and the thigh. I thought these were very comfortable. I like the looseness of the denim. The quality across the board, I would say, is better than anything that I've tried on in any of my recent videos. Next, I wanted to try the 721 high-rise skinny. These have a very high percentage of polyester in them. And that was really why I wanted to try them on, was I wanted to see exactly how they feel. They are 73% cotton and 26% polyester and 1% elastane. That is a very high mark of polyester. I think the overall comfortable and durability feel of this type of denim just is not there. It does not match what I'm trying on with that 100% cotton. I know I scream from the rooftops that like polyester is just not meant to be in denim, and I want to break down real quick why and why it might feel like you're in this like feedback loop of constantly needing to buy more jeans. Washing denim that has polyester in it is just going to shorten the lifespan of your garment. Ultimately, you're not supposed to wash denim as much as most people wash their denim. You're supposed to typically wait around 10 wears. However, polyester starts to smell a lot quicker than cotton does. So you're most likely going to be washing anything with polyester in it quite a bit more, which then is just going to loosen the durability of the product. So I think a lot of people get stuck in this feedback loop of they're like, well, I like the stretchiness and I like the ability to expand with the garment, which yeah, it's great if you want something skinny, but at the end of the day, I really don't think it helps with the overall quality of your denim. I think it's just something that unfortunately got introduced into the fashion zeitgeist, and it has just forever changed how people shop for their denim. But I think for the people who know and understand just how bad the fashion environment is right now, it just makes it that much more of a, is this really a necessity? Is this really something that we need in our clothes? And I know on my channel, I try and talk a lot about like good polyester versus bad polyester. At the end of the day, polyester is bad no matter what. But I do think there are some instances where polyester is necessary. And I think this is one of those instances where it actually isn't necessary. Okay, that's my TED Talk on polyester and denim. Next up is this beautiful denim trucker jacket. I love a good denim top piece. I think mostly across the board, any of their denim shirts and jackets seem like they hold a premium level. However, none of them are marked premium. So that makes it a little confusing when trying to distinguish the difference in quality. I think one way that I try and look at it is if you can see a lot of warping on the denim itself, on the hanger, you probably don't have that good of a shirt. Next, I wanted to try on the classic 501s. The men's section does have a little bit larger collection of 501s versus the women's selection. I grabbed a pair from the women's, and then I grabbed a very distinct different pair from the men's section. This was a darker wash finish. It has more of a raw feel to it. However, it was not a raw denim. This one was very interesting though when it came to the fabric content. This was 60% cotton and 40% viscose. I've talked about viscose many a times on my channel. I do think it's noteworthy that that is a very high percentage of viscose. 40% is not small. Viscose is a very chameleon-like fabric, and it's something that you can manufacture in so many different ways. I do think washing viscose though is a little risky, and it didn't have anything on the label saying like there's any specific way to wash it. I did absolutely love the feel though of that denim on that fabric combination. I thought it was probably the closest that you could get to a raw denim feel without it being actually raw denim. Next is the women's 501s. Listen, there is a reason that these have been the classic staple for 150 years. They are just that good. They are so classic. They're so comfortable. Again, can't recommend enough going with 100% cotton. The very last pair that I tried on at the store was the 501 90s Western. I really like these. That's what makes the premium stores so much fun, is they have so many different takes on their classic styles. You can find jumpsuits, you can find overalls, you can find interesting jackets. With this sort of varsity snap button jacket, I thought this was so cool. Such a good staple piece. However, I do think there is a very strange difference in quality when it comes to like the basics. I tried on a women's crew neck white t-shirt versus a men's crew neck white t-shirt. They both are very thin cotton, very flimsy. I just think for the price point, you can get so much better quality out there on the market. Both of them were very sheer in design, so I can't say that one was made better over the other. I think obviously with the women's, you're getting a little bit less fabric. I would even argue that in some ways it was a little bit more see-through or sheer than the women's. Now let's move along to the factory outlet store. I walked in there expecting to see a little bit more premium pieces on sale. They had two pieces that were from their premium collection, and they said that they only get premium if it is returned in store. This is where quality got really interesting to me though, because they do carry 501s at the factory outlet, but they are slightly less in price point. So I would imagine the cotton quality is a little bit lower when it comes to their factory outlets and anything that you're seeing at, you know, separate vendor stores, so like Target or Walmart. But there's really no innovation or unique styles. It's just very cut and dry. These are the 501s, the 725s, the 721s. I did find it very interesting though that the outlet was where you could find their shrink to fit denim. Shrink to fit means exactly what it says. You shrink it to fit you. You buy typically 2 sizes up. You can either wash the denim to shrink it down, or you can literally sit in the bathtub, which is recommended by Levi's, and shrink the denim down to fit your body size. Yes, it is a very tedious process. From all the research that I did, it actually sounds like the raw denim is better quality, and you are going to get a longer lifespan out of the shrink to fit series than you would just about any of the like mainline store offerings. And I was so curious to see if there were any female content creators out there that tried the shrink to fit line, because the unfortunate part is it's only manufactured in menswear. Rebecca Good actually has a really good 2-video series where she documented the process. If it is something that you are at all curious about, I would highly recommend watching her video. She does such an intricate deep dive into just the overall quality and lifespan of the garment. For the price point, it was shocking to me that the only place that you can buy the shrink to fit line is at the outlet store, because I think our brains are trained to see outlet stores as kind of the lesser quality. And I think shrink to fit could very easily rival some of the pieces that you can find in their premium store or their brick and mortar store. Okay, next stop on our little field trip is Target. Target has a very small collection of Levi's for both men and women. The women's section, they actually have 501s available, and they are not marked premium. However, I would say the difference in cotton and feel is so small. And that's where it gets so confusing, is you can buy 501s there for, you know, $70 versus $100 at their brick and mortar store. I do think the offerings at the mainline store for the 501 are a little bit wider, so you can get different color variations, you can get different distressing. So if you want more of a vintage feel to your 501s, you can definitely find that in their premium collection. Now, this is just me speculating when I say this, but the only thing that I could figure out was it seems like the premium collection, you might be getting a little bit more eco-friendly options. Could it be organic cotton? Is it using lyocell, which is part of a closed loop system? So it has certifications when it comes to, you know, what kind of chemicals it's releasing. So that basically is leaving the decision in the buyer's hand of whether or not they want to pay for that eco-friendly piece, even though the brand itself is still manufacturing the same amount of product that is not eco-friendly. And I also tried on the cinch baggy in like kind of a railroad style print. I liked those as well. I thought these could easily be mixed and matched with the premium collection. So again, you're paying a little bit lower price, and I think in a lot of ways, it still feels like you're getting the premium quality. However, they do still have some pieces that feel exactly like what you would get at, say, the outlet/warehouse store, or something you would find at like a Costco or a Walmart. I have looked at the denim collection at Walmart in the past, but I can honestly say it's high percentages of polyester. It's a lot thinner cotton. So across the board, you are not getting the same quality at all. I can honestly vouch for that. As most of you know, I love to go over to the men's section and take a look at what they have to offer and see if their quality is any better. And I can honestly say the quality is significantly lower. You're paying $10 less. I will say that. Everything over there was for the most part $59.99. The stitching on it was significantly messier. You're also not getting the chain stitch, so I guess there's that too. If you're looking for just a basic pair of denim jeans, no muss, no fuss, I would honestly say look at some of the other lines within Target, and you could probably find thicker, sturdier denim jeans. Now let's talk about my personal collection of Levi's. I have the high loose, which is probably the ones that I get asked about the most. They are a dark wash. The interesting thing about these is they are 77% cotton and 23% hemp. This runs quite a bit softer, and I think the touch and feel of it is not as sturdy as what you would get on 100% cotton. But I would say, as far as comfort level goes, I actually prefer these for their softness. I think they just have washed really well over time. The dyeing has changed a little bit, but some people prefer that and enjoy watching the process of their denim fade over time, I guess you could say. Sorry, but like, how much cooler would these look with a freaking chain stitch? But out of principle, I'm not gonna pay extra for a chain stitch that I could have had in the first place. Next are my wedgie fit. These are probably my least worn. I don't think they are as comfortable, but that again is a personal preference. They are 100% cotton, so they are very stiff and fit. I would say maybe after a little bit more wear and use, this might start to feel like it's a little bit more worn in, but this is by and far the stiffest pair that I own. And I think that's only because I don't wash them as much, because I don't wear them as much. And I also have this Made and Crafted line. The Made and Crafted line is a really unique line, and it's also defunct at this point. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how the LVC line does, but the Made and Crafted line itself, I think this is about as close to a true pair of like high quality denim jeans that you can get in the Levi's family. I'm happy that I have this in my personal collection. I've also loved watching the finish kind of fade over time. I do think it's something that, again, the more I wash it, kind of the more lived in and worn in it's starting to feel. And one thing that I do think is fascinating about these jeans that I just want to point out is they do have the chain stitch. What is it with the chain stitch, okay? How come the most expensive pair of denim jeans that I can get in the women's market has the chain stitch? I do also want to note I have a pair of jeans from the brand Totem, which these retailed for close to $400. No, I did not pay anywhere near that. I thrifted these on Poshmark. As far as quality goes, it is very hard to distinguish the quality difference in thickness of cotton in the general overall wear of the garment. I would say the Made and Crafted line is very much in line with the Totem line. Final thoughts and hot takes. Levi's is so freaking confusing. I think what's frustrating me more and more the longer I do this series is there is just no way for the consumer to know. I just would love to see more and more companies start to become transparent. I think that is the biggest thing that we lack. And I think the more we push for that transparency and just knowing where these pieces are coming from, the more likely people are going to spend money. I think that's something that's lacking in the fashion industry. And I think for a company that has been around as long as they have, I mean, again, they're an archival brand. They have so many resources when it comes to archives and knowing what type of quality fabric to use, where to source from, what manufacturers to use. But their brand is so convoluted when it comes to quality standards because I don't think a lot of people know exactly what the differences are in the mainline store, which also mainline makes it sound like it's their like main store, which to me, the brick and mortar store should be their mainline store, but mainline stands for what you would find at Target, Walmart, Costco. It's just so confusing because the quality is not the same. But I think when it comes to diffusion in the world that we're in now, in the market that we're in, it just feels like a company is trying to sell junk to their consumers. I think the premium collection makes you wary of spending that money, especially if, like I said, I could go to Target and buy the 501 collection and feel like I'm getting a very similar pair of denim jeans than going to the brick and mortar store, which I want to call the mainline store so badly, but I can't. Another thing that was really frustrating is you can't find any of their LVC or their made in Japan at their brick and mortar store. It's online only. And to boot, they have like, I think like between 10 and 15 styles in the LVC collection. One piece, one pair of jeans is manufactured for women. That is so frustrating. I don't know where the disconnect is. Is it that Levi's maybe hasn't established themselves in the women's market the same way that other companies have? When I think of like Rag & Bone, Citizens of Humanity, A Goldie, any of those, I think women's denim. I think like premium women's denim. I don't want to make any assumptions, especially when it comes to like female versus male market. I think there's just too much that I don't understand. I will say if you look at like forums online about denim, it is very strongly a male dominated audience. I'm sure those are all things that go into play and factors. As someone who has found vintage denim in the past and fallen absolutely in love with it, from Wranglers to Levi's to Lee, I've found it all on the market, and I think there's really a lot of opportunity when it comes to the women's market, and it's unfortunate to see that they're really not tapping into that. I think the branding overall is just very convoluted. I do think they are one of those companies though that is doing a decent job in pulling back the curtain on how everything works. They have a good established YouTube channel that you can see some of their archival footage. You can see some of their manufacturing process. They have good descriptions on their website, which is something that a lot of websites are lacking. Out of all the denim that I have researched so far, I would say Levi's wins, hands down. Especially considering you can find so much Levi's secondhand. Just know that finding premium at the thrift store means it's a little bit better quality. Finding the made and crafted means you found really good. And of course, if you find any vintage Levi's, definitely pick those up. Do not skip on those. The longer I go on with this series, the more research I realize I'm doing within each video, and I'm really enjoying it, and I hope you guys are too. I collect vintage for a living, so finding out the history of companies is just as important to me as finding out the manufacturing process. Shockingly, for the most part, I give Levi's my seal of approval. Do I think the quality has changed over the years? Yes, I think they've skimped on a lot of their manufacturing process. And there's actually like video proof out there that it has changed significantly. But I do think as far as overall quality standard goes for what's available on the market right now, if you're shopping the premium collection, you're most likely getting a pair of jeans that's gonna last you a lifetime. It's debatable though when you shop in the mainline stores. That's where the quality significantly declines. And there's so much more nuance that goes into what you're purchasing. That is it for today's video. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. If you guys are new around here, I might have a couple extra videos for you right here, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.